welcome everybody.
Shalom.
Shalom on a Wednesday. Yeah, Shabbat Shalom on a Wednesday. Um,
I'm early.
tonight you are early. You're just you're prepared. Tonight we're going to talk about nutrition strategies. This is something that I've gotten asked about a few times from some of my clients in the past week or so about like how did we come up with your starting protocols? How do we come up with the initial macros that we gave you? And I think this is important because eventually you guys are not going to have us and you're not going to have coaches, and we want you to be able to understand how to continue to make progress on your own. So let's talk about how we initially set up your nutrition, and then we'll talk about making adjustments for muscle building or fat loss. And then I guess we can go through like what to do if you fall off and some easy strategies to actually hitting your macros and making it less complicated, because I think a lot of people overcomplicate it. And then we'll talk about peri-workout nutrition, and then how to track alcohol if you are someone who drinks alcohol.
Um, yeah, I think we should. This is a long ass guide.
It's a long ass guide. We're going to consolidate these.
We're
These are
gonna
going to be, this is
consolidate.
like the
We'll
101 of
definitely
everything.
hit the how you track alcohol because I think
We're
it's
for
super
sure going to hit,
interesting if
yeah,
you don't know how to
yeah,
do that.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Quick show of hands. Who has a drink every now and then? If I go out to dinner and there's like a good old fashioned on the menu, I'm probably gonna like,
That's not true. You have one like once a quarter.
yeah. That's how often I find a good old fashioned on a menu. Okay.
I think I had 3 alcoholic beverages in 2023.
Yeah, something like that. All right, cool. Well, let's get into it. So to start, how to calculate your macros. So there's a couple different strategies that we use here. The most accurate form that I like is to actually just have you guys track what you normally eat and drink. Some people don't like that because if you come to us and you've been eating like shit, uh, you don't really want to keep doing that for another week, you know? So there's pros and cons to this approach, but essentially what we want to do is have you track everything you eat and drink for 5 to 7 days. And then we have an idea of how many calories you're consuming on average. Some days are going to be high, some days are going to be low. It's okay if you're inconsistent. It's okay if you eat crap food. It's okay if you're still having the normal amount of alcohol that you normally have. We just want to get an understanding of like on average, how many calories do you consume a day? And then we can use that to determine how we want to set up your nutrition.
And when you do that, when you are tracking all of your food, you also need to weigh it. So this is a good opportunity when you're not trying to hit specific macros to just
I like the more front of like that one. It looks
oh,
like a
can you
monster.
mute her?
Don't get a monster,
Um,
I'll kill you myself.
sorry. Anyway, so you need to weigh your food. So if you haven't tracked before, this is a good opportunity to kind of become acquainted with it and get a better understanding of if you're weighing a food wet, if you're weighing a food cooked, if you're weighing a food pre-cooked weight, just depends. It's also a good opportunity to get a general idea of like what portions of food look like.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of times you'll start tracking your food if you've never tracked before and you're like, wow, I do not have a lot of protein.
Yeah.
It's kind of eye-opening. Now,
Yep.
so that's the preferred option. The reason that's the preferred option is because we can use tools like a macro calculator, and we have one that we've built out. It's our own macro calculator that basically uses an equation. There's a Harris-Benedict equation, Mifflin-St. Jeor equation, whatever it is, takes your height, your weight, your activity level, sometimes your body fat, and it calculates what your estimated energy expenditure might be. Like on what do we expect your caloric expenditure is throughout the day. The reason I don't really love that is because it doesn't take into consideration your individual history. You know, if you've been chronically dieting or severely under eating or basically in a deficit for a very long time, you're probably going to have a very downregulated metabolism. And that number that the calculation gives us is not going to be accurate. So what I will do if I do use a calculation is I'll look at what the calculation gives me. And then I'll look at your new client intake form and everything I know about you, about your health and fitness history. And I'll make a decision as to what I think, based on the calculation and your history, what your daily caloric intake should be.
And keep in mind when we're doing this, this is very introductory level, getting an understanding of what your caloric intake should be. There are innumerous things that could play a role into the shifting of your macros. So if you have insulin resistance, you probably want to be prioritizing fats and not overloading the system with glucose. If you have gut issues or experience bloating after certain meals or certain macronutrients, that's also going to come into effect. So what Josh is describing, just so everybody is aware, if they want to help a friend or a family member or something with it, is not necessarily going to take into consideration your health, your physical health, or your internal health.
Yep, exactly. Now, the other thing is that it's okay if this number isn't perfect, right? Because if you start using this number that you've calculated and you're either, say you want to lose fat and you start using that number, you start hitting those calories every day, hitting your macros, and you're not losing fat, well, you're probably not in a deficit, or there's some deeper underlying issue going on. So this is just to get us started. It creates a foundation. It creates a baseline. Once you have your caloric value of how many calories you need to eat during the day, you split that up into your macronutrient profile. So like Alexa was just saying, there's a lot that goes into this, but general rule of thumb would be about 1 gram per pound of protein. So about 1 gram per pound of body weight is what you would set your protein at. So if you're a 200-pound male, about 200 pounds of protein. If you're a 140-pound female, 140 grams of protein.
Another means of doing this could be desired body weight as well.
Yeah. So if you have a lot of weight to lose, you would set your protein at the goal body weight. So say, you're 200 pounds, you want to lose 40 pounds, you think you have 40 pounds to lose, you could set your protein at 160 grams per day. So that's your protein, about 1 gram per pound of body weight. Fats, anywhere between, this is an interesting one because the MyPlate guidelines, will say 20 to 35%. That's really high personally. I kind of go for men anywhere between 15 and 25%, outside of low carb diets, of course. And for women, usually 20 to 30% tops. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You agree?
Yeah. Women need fats to support our hormones. Oh, somebody sent a message. Women need fats. Wow, that was so hard to say. To keep our hormones in homeostasis. It's unfortunately a part of our DNA that we need higher fats. So women's fats will always be a smidge bit higher than men's.
A little bit higher. Men need fats to support our hormones too, but we're a little bit more resilient in that regard. Just because
bastards.
Us bastards. We got that testosterone just really crushing cortisol when it can. So anyway, those are pretty much your options. Track your food for 5 to 7 days to get your average caloric intake, or calculate it, get your total calories, and then set up your macros with 1 gram per pound of protein, 1 gram per pound of body weight for protein, depending on men or women, 15 to 25% or 20 to 30% fats, and then the rest will come from carbs. The important thing to know here is that protein and carbs have 4 calories per gram. So for every gram of protein you consume, you're consuming 4 calories. You need to know that in order to create your macronutrient distribution. So say you have, a 2,000 calorie diet. If you had 25% of those calories from carbohydrates, that would be 500 grams of carbs, which would be a lot.
That would be a lot.
That would be a lot for a 2,000 calorie diet. Don't do that. That was just an example. All right. So now that you have your macros set up for your day, my recommendation is always to split those up by meal. I used to do daily macros, and what I found was I was trying to track my macros throughout the day, and then by the end of the day, I would end up with a lot of food left. So what I started doing for myself, and now I do for my athletes, is I'll do macros per meal as an option. So you just split your macros up among the meals that you have, and then you have
with the exception of peri nutrition.
With the exception of peri nutrition. But it makes it a lot easier to stay on track. So, you know, your meal 1 is this macros, your meal 2 is this macros, your meal 3 is this macros.
Okay, really quick, in addition to staying on track, if you experience digestive issues and you know that you're somebody who has poor time management skills, this is going to help. You're
So
going to
not
be
binging at the end of the night.
so you're not binging, you're not trying to catch up on all the food that you haven't had yet or that you missed out on, you know, while the sun was up and you were not. I'm just kidding. But you're not going to have to play catch up if you space your meals out, you know, every 2.5 to 3 hours, depending on how many meals you eat a day.
Especially important for those of us who have to eat a lot of food.
I can tell you it's been like the biggest game changer for me, just not only to have that like broken down, but to stay consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're somebody who, for my ladies who does that, who has the long periods where they don't eat all day, or if you're on relatively low calories, um, your hunger, which you probably haven't experienced a lot of, your hunger cues will kick up if you are eating consistently.
Mhm.
And that's also going to cause your metabolism to kick up.
Mhm. Yeah. It is cool when we start working with people and we can like point that out. It's like, all right, in 2 weeks, you're going to start getting real hungry.
Yeah.
And then in 2 weeks, they start getting hungry and they're like, dude, that's wild. How'd you know that? It's just the way it works. So yeah, macros per meal. Now, if you're doing that, and I highly recommend doing that, like Alexa said, your peri-workout nutrition those are your most important meals of the day. Your pre-workout, intra-workout, and post-workout meals.
Really quick, last little caveat. Another reason that splitting your macros up per meal per day is important is because if you try to slam a whole bunch of protein at one time in one sitting, you're going to upset your tummy. You're not going to absorb all of it, so on and so forth.
Especially if you're doing that before bed.
Yeah.
I know everyone in this chat and everyone who's listening.
Slim the protein, PM protein.
Dude, there was times where I used to be like, I'd fall behind and then I'd be like, well, shit, I have to have 2 meals before I go to bed. And my old line of thinking was I have to get those meals in.
You have to have the Mimi's protein.
So I'd end up having like 90 grams of protein before bed, and then my sleep gets dysregulated and my digestion gets dysregulated. And I would be better off just not having both of those meals, just having one.
That was a fad for a while, though.
Of lots of protein before bed.
Well, your pre-bed protein shake, yeah.
Casein before bed.
Yeah, dude, you gotta have that slow digesting protein over bed.
Yeah, so you don't go catabolic overnight. In like your most anabolic time of the day.
Bodybuilding.com, dude.
So yes, set up your macros per meal. Set up your day so that you have a schedule. Like I know what times my meals are right now. I'm eating a decent amount of food, not a lot, but like I know what times my meals are at. And I have goals for my water throughout the day too. So
water
helps keep you. Is that how I say it?
No.
Yeah, you do.
But you did that time. Oh, fucking
it helps, dude. It helps keep you on schedule.
Hey, you leave my Providence boy alone.
Water. I like water. Look at all this water I have.
Hey, water playboy.
This motherfucker Grey Goose, man.
Yeah, you're hitting up the bubbler all the time, kid.
All the time, the bubbler. Oh my god, we used to hit the bubbler. Yeah, wow, that's funny.
Okay, sorry.
All right, so we have our macros per meal. Now, when you're setting up your macros per meal, you're going to want to take into account your pre, intra, and post-workout nutrition. So around your training, that's when you're going to want to prioritize the majority of your carbohydrates, especially if you're an insulin resistant person and you're having any carbohydrates throughout the day.
Hi, all of my PCOS queens.
All our PCOS queens. Yeah. All of our high blood glucose queens and kings. You're going to want to prioritize your carbs around your training. And that's when you can have a little bit higher glycemic carbohydrates. I typically, with most of my athletes, I usually go anywhere between like 40 and 70, sometimes even 80% of carbohydrates around your training.
Yeah, if you're in prep, it's 100%.
If you're in prep, by the end of prep, it's 100% of your carbohydrates are around your training.
Unless you're Olivia.
Think of when you're setting up your macros, think of when am I going to need energy? Like if you don't have a lot of carbohydrates, you're like, I'm going to need energy around my training. So I'm going to put most of my carbohydrates pre-workout meal, intra-workout, and post-workout, and whatever's left, I'm going to sprinkle out throughout the rest of the day pretty evenly. But 40 to 75, maybe even 80% of carbohydrates for most people around your training. And that's in your pre, intra, and post workout. Protein, I usually keep split evenly throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then fats, this is an interesting one. So fats are going to slow down your digestion a little bit. So if you were going to do, say, like a CrossFit workout, I know none of us are really CrossFit people, but if you were going to do a CrossFit workout, you're going to want short burst energy. You're not really going to want to slow down your digestion that much. So you're probably going to have mostly carbohydrates before you train and not a lot of fat or protein. But for us and bodybuilders and traditional weightlifters, you're going to want to have even protein throughout the day, most of your carbohydrates around your training. And I typically see best like between 10 and 15 grams of fat pre-workout.
I drop it down lower to 7 to 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it also is highly dependent on the individual.
Mhm.
If you're somebody who digests wicked quickly, that's me.
Mhm.
You're gonna want to slow it down a little bit more. You also want to take into account how long is your commute to the gym? How long is it going to be between your meal and you touching that first set
Yeah.
of whatever you're training? If it's going to be, 2 hours, 90 minutes to 2 hours, I would say go on the higher end of that and really slow down your digestion with some more fats. If it's going to be on the lower end, anywhere from like 15 to 30 minutes, then keep it on the lower end of fats.
And like Alexa said, it's highly individualized. So like the last time Alexa and I were in prep together, she would finish her post-workout meal and we would have to drive separately to the gym because
my pre-workout meal.
Her pre-workout meal, sorry.
Yeah.
We would have to drive separately to the gym. She would eat her pre-workout meal and literally just have to like eat it and leave to drive 15 minutes to the gym, if that, and then start training and still would run out of steam like halfway through her training.
Yeah.
Whereas I would eat my pre-workout meal and need like 30 to 40 minutes to digest it before I left. So highly individualized.
Yeah.
I'd say most pre-workout meals are going to be between like 30 and 90 minutes for most people.
Yeah.
Before you train. But pay attention. If you go into your workout and you're like still feeling a little bit bloated and full and you can't really brace very well, probably ate too soon or
too close to your workout.
Too much fat. Yeah, too close to your workout. On the other hand, if you get to your workout and you're already ripped through all your food, then like Alexa, probably waited too long.
I just didn't have any food.
Yeah, so. She just didn't have any food. She has to push so hard in prep. It's wild. So that's what I would recommend for your pre-workout is again, protein split evenly throughout the day. Most of your carbs around pre, intra, and post-workout. About 7 to 15 grams of fat pre-workout. Intra-workout, don't eat your intra-workout. Drink it. Gatorade, any sort of like carbohydrate powder.
Carbolin, whatever.
Yeah, I kind of stay away from maltodextrin these days. I feel like it causes some digestive issues, but like cyclic dextrin is good, which is what like carbolin or raw intra, any of those are made of. And then post-workout, again, carbohydrates, even amounts of protein, low fat, trace fats. You want that.
We want that fucking ushered in there, dude.
Yeah, dude. You want that
straight to the muscle.
Yeah.
Straight to the main vein.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that means.
And then I don't know about you. I find a lot of people tend to do well with like, if we're splitting up fats, a little bit higher in the morning and the evening, depending on the individual. And
depends on the individual.
Whether they're experiencing any insulin sensitivity issues or things like that.
I do find specifically for women, I do like having a decent amount of fats in the morning, but I tend to split it up evenly because a lot of women experience lesser appetites first thing in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And having the majority of their fats, then they typically feel way too satiated, and then the appetite is even more suppressed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, I know for women, this works really well is like cycling your calories. So you're not just eating the same thing every day, but like you have training day calories, rest day calories. And then especially for women having like one high day, especially in a fat loss phase.
Yeah.
Tends to work really well.
Yeah.
But
that's another
story. Yeah. That's a whole nother thing. Something that I think really changed the way that I tracked my macros and made it really easy for me was understanding the concept of trace macros. Like there was a long time where I was just trying to make the things that I wanted fit. And I think it's way easier to build your own meal plan and track macros when instead of trying to use like peanut butter or a fatty meat or something new and interesting that has both protein and fat in it, and sometimes carbohydrates, of just going for pure as you can sources of macros. So like olive oil, for example,
The fat.
is just fat. 1 gram of olive oil is 1 gram of fat. So if you're short on your fats at all, that's a really easy way to add it in that won't affect anything else. If you find that you're consistently 10 grams short on fat, add a teaspoon of olive oil to 2 of your meals and that'll fix it. And it won't throw off your protein or your carbs.
And it tastes good with all the other things that you're
It
eating.
tastes good with all the other things. If you're short on your carbs,
Maybe.
well, most carbs are just carbs, especially if they're whole foods carbs. But you could always add more rice, more honey. Those things are pretty much just fruit. They're just carbs. And of course, protein, the leaner it is, the more pure it's going to be. So that makes it really easy. What?
I don't know. It just sounded creepy.
Oh. So that I found made tracking way easier for me, especially if I had a day that kind of threw me off and I needed to like make up in trace macros.
Yeah.
What else? Let's go to
how to track what? Oh, go for it.
What were you gonna go?
How to track alcohol.
That's what I was gonna go to.
Nice. Yeah. Are you guys ready to get lit?
Do you guys know how to track alcohol?
Yeah. Who knows how to track alcohol?
Anybody? Raise your hands if you know how to track alcohol. I know Drea knows how to track alcohol. Okay, cool. So this is weird. Okay, alcohol technically its own macronutrient.
Yep.
It like protein and carbs have 4 calories per gram, and fats have 9 calories per gram, but alcohol has 7 calories.
7.
Which there's no like entry for alcohol. Like it's not like you go to your MyFitnessPal and it's like protein, carbs, fat, and alcohol. Like no, there's no way to track it. So what we have to do is we have to track it as either fat or carbs. And because we know that fats are really important for your hormone levels, we typically want to track it as carbohydrates.
You're not tracking it as protein.
No, absolutely don't track it as protein.
If you take away from your protein for alcohol, you're a silly goose.
Silly goose. So to track alcohol, we simply, if we want to track it as carbohydrates, we divide the total caloric value of what we're consuming by 4. Because remember, there's 4 calories per gram of carbohydrates. So if you have a White Claw,
100 calories.
Everybody's looked at a White Claw. It's got 100 calories in it. White Claw, whatever seltzer you want, they're all like 100 calories. And they all say that they have 2 grams of carbohydrates, which is pretty wild because 2 grams of carbohydrates is 8 calories. So you're like, where's the other 92 calories from? Well, it's alcohol. So if you want to track a White Claw, if you just scan it into your MyFitnessPal, it'll track as 2 grams of carbohydrates and it'll throw off it'll say you had way more calories, but you hit your macros. That's not good. Instead, take the 100 calories in that can of White Claw, divide it by 4, and track it as 25 grams of carbs. If you have MyFitnessPal Premium, then you can just do a quick add for 25 grams of carbs. If you don't have the premium, what you can do is search for carbs or carbohydrates, and there will be an entry that has carbs or carbohydrates, and you can just add 25 grams of that. But that's pretty much how you would track it, which makes it easier for things like White Claw, vodka, 80 calories per gram or so. So it's 20 grams of carbs per shot of vodka. But it also makes it a lot more sad when you realize like your favorite drink tracks as like 70 grams of carbs.
Oh my God, dude. Moscow Mule.
Yeah. Moscow Mule, especially if you don't use sugar-free.
So good.
Ginger beer is going to track as a lot of carbs. So basically you could like hit your macros for the day, or you could have one of those drinks for your carbs.
The one that Patrick made at the Christmas party for me.
Yeah. Patrick's not in the chat anymore, but Patrick makes a mean Moscow Mule.
He puts so much good stuff in it.
Yeah.
Put like some really mint and I don't know, other stuff. It was so
good. So that makes tracking alcohol really easy when it's something like a White Claw or a shot of vodka or a shot of whiskey or whatever pure alcohol you're drinking. If you can, I would always recommend choosing clear liquors because they have less calories in them. I know I mentioned like I love a good old fashioned, and that's like a kind of a like once in a blue moon free meal kind of thing. But clear liquors and sugar-free diet sodas. And then you can just track, there's 2 shots of vodka in your drink with vodka soda or whatever it is. And you just track that. That's 40 grams of carbs. 80 calories per shot of vodka, 2 shots, 40 grams of carbs.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
Last thing that we didn't touch on that I had wanted to was we gave you guys kind of the general macronutrient splits that we would do when coming up with somebody's starting plan. As you head into different phases, whether it be a cut, a bulk, even maintenance, those numbers are going to shift based on your body's ability to process and digest, as well as based on what your goal in that time period is. So, for example, if you were to head into a cut, and say your protein was low to moderate, your carbs are high, and your fats are moderate, you would pull down your carbs and your fats, but you would also increase protein a little bit. So that you continue to stay satiated while you're in a caloric deficit, as well as still giving your muscles the foods and resources that they need.
And on the other side of things, like I think a lot of people, when we first started looking into how we should set up our macros, like the 40-40-20 split.
Yeah, that was really popular.
40% protein, 40% carbs, 20% fat. But what happens when, like in my case, I have to eat a lot of food to grow? What happens when my calories get up to 5,000 or 6,000?
Yeah, that's so much protein.
That would be a ridiculous.
Not a good idea. Don't recommend that.
And with my digestion, there's no way I can handle it. So you would have to modify your split. And, eventually, there's going to be a period where, I might be eating 250 grams of protein, but 700 or 800 grams of carbs. And that percentage, we can't rely on just like general rule of thumb percentages. We have to look at the individual. Yeah.
Which is why you hired us.
And why we want to teach you guys how this stuff works. So, yeah.
Do you don't have any questions about anything? I know we talked about a lot of topics tonight.
Yeah. Or if you have like a favorite alcoholic beverage and you just want to make sure you know how to track it accurately. Which, by the way, if you have a free meal in your plan and you're not in prep and you go out and you have one alcoholic beverage with your free meal, you don't need to track that. It's a free meal. Just don't go crazy.
Yeah.
Don't like go start binge drinking.
Unless you're in a health phase.
Unless you're in a health phase or you're in prep or,
if you're in prep, you're probably not getting a free meal.
I don't go out very often, but a thing that I do when I do, I normally do like a vodka water. So I'm getting water into, and then I take like Mios, like the drink mix, and then I squirt it in my drink.
Yeah.
Oh, yum.
That's a good one. Yeah. I had a friend who did vodka water back in the day too. It takes a little bit of getting used to.
I do vodka water.
You do vodka water?
Yeah, vodka water with the lime.
It's so awesome. Keeps you hydrated.
Yeah, you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone at that point. I'm trying to think of if I ever, maybe one time I've seen you order a vodka water. Now that I think about it.
I mean, how many times?
In the 6 times I've seen you have an alcoholic beverage. That's good. And the Mio is a good touch too.
Yeah.
You just keep that in your pocket and just
whip that bad boy out.
A little squirt.
I hope you have a little like holster for it. You can like
keep that thing on you.
Yeah.
One thing I have my clients do, if they're going to be drinking alcohol, they have to match ounce for ounce, however much alcohol they have for water. So if they have a shot that's 2 ounces, that's 2 extra ounces of water on top of their daily minimum. So instead of drinking like 128 ounces for their gallon, they now have 130.
Double it. We need to double it. Turn up these numbers.
Double or nothing.
We need to get these numbers up, boys.
I'll space my drinks with a water.
Yeah.
Water in between every one.
Water.
It's funny we probably say words and I like they don't sound weird to me.
When we go back to the East Coast, it gets so aggressive.
If I even get on the phone with one of my friends from
yeah, he does.
Yeah. Yeah, it instantly comes out. But Yeah, that's a good one. Vodka water. I like clear liquors.
Hey, do you like clear liquors?
I mean, I like tequila. I like tequila and whiskey are kind of my go-tos. So
That's
unless wherever I am has blue cheese olives, then I'll go dirty martini, blue cheese olives, vodka. Yeah. For my quarterly beverage.
noted.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yep.
Well, does anyone
Okay.
have anything exciting to share about the week? Or
We've got 2 new friends on the call, Sophia and Kaylee. They just joined. That's exciting.
Welcome, y'all.
welcome, friends.
Nice to meet you guys.
She
Hell
left
yeah.
because you scared her.
It was like I'm out.
Way to
well.
go, Drea.
I know.
You're so intimidating.
Listen, it's these wings. They're scaring people off.
I
It's
know.
for
The
sure
amount
the
of people that have
eyeliner.
told me that I'm intimidating is ridiculous. It's because I have colored hair, I have tattoos, I've got really bad resting bitch face. The amount of people that tell me I'm intimidating on a regular basis is kind of sad because I'm so nice. I'm a big teddy bear and I don't see how I'm intimidating.
Dude, I get that too.
So is Alexa. She gets that too.
You're jacked and juicy. It's a thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm like, dude.
Yeah, but I'm a little fucking pumpkin. I'm like barely off the ground. That's not intimidating.
I don't know. It's pretty intimidating. Alexa's like, I don't know why people are so intimidated by me. She's got 10 plates aside on the leg press.
Literally, her head's her quad's the size of my head. I'm like, I'm fucking
that
scared,
doesn't.
dude.
She's like, I don't know why so many people are intimidated by me. She goes to ask somebody how many sets they have left, and they're like, I'm done. She goes, cool, you can leave it. I'll warm up with that.
That's facts. I've witnessed that.
Oh my god, it's not embarrassing. It's cool. I like watching from afar, and I'm like, watch this. I'm just gonna do it.
Oh my god, I didn't realize I do that.
No,
but
but you don't. But like, you're just really strong, and
yeah, but I'm also so short that nobody has any idea all the way down here.
oh my god. Oh man. Well, my brain survived that.
You nailed it.
By the way, for those of you, I don't know if any, like some people take notes during these calls, but we will have a nutrition guide sent out to the email. I think it should go out tonight, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be going out tonight.
So what we talked about, a lot of everything that we talked about, plus a whole lot more, is going to be on that email, and it's in a pretty layout.
And you know what I'll do is I'll actually just even drop that nutrition guide in the group chat.
Yeah. I got that. I'll do
all
that.
right, we'll drop the nutrition guide in the group chat, and then you don't even have to worry about finding it on the email.
It'll just be in the WhatsApp group.
It'll be in the WhatsApp group chat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and y'all can share that with whoever you want.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Love you guys.
Love y'all. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for our new friends coming to hang and kick it and be weird with us and learn some cool shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. We will see y'all next week. And by the way, to all of our new people, if there's anything that you guys are ever interested in learning, like, or just talking about, whether it's high level, low level, mental, physiological, just let us know. Pop in the group chat and we'll nerd out on it for like a half hour.
Whatever level it's on.
Yeah. All right. Well, take care, y'all. Have a good rest of your night and have a great week. And we'll see you guys next Wednesday.
Bye, friends.
Later.
Love you guys.
Bye. Love y'all.
Bye.